Let's begin with the big news coming out from St. Mary's Stadium, and that's about Southampton Football Club. They now have a new manager, talking about Jones. Yes, Nathan Jones has been named as the new manager of Southampton Football Club, and he signed a 3.5-year contract earlier today. It must be said that he replaces Ralph Hussenton, who was sacked following the 4-1 defeat to Newcastle United over the weekend, talking about the Premier League match itself. And that defeat, condemned Southampton to just a win in their last 9 matches, which is not good enough for the owners of Southampton Football Club. For Nathan Jones, he was the coach of Luton Town right there at the Championship, where they were doing quite well, 9th on the standings before signing this contract. And it's yet to be seen if he will be able to replicate the good works he did at Luton Town. It's a different kettle of fish when you compare the Championship to the Premier League, which is more demanding, talking about the top flight football club. And there is a statement from Nathan Jones after being signed, saying that that's the poll, that it's about the project, the ability to improve and work with young players, as well as develop a clear identity for the club in terms of playing style. The World Cup is just around the corner, talking about days away from the kickoff for the World Cup itself. So many superstars will be missing due to injuries, but one superstar that has been included despite being injured at this time is Raphael Varane of France, who is included in the French team. It's yet to be seen if there will be an extra space for another player. You have Didier Deschamps having the opportunity of picking 26 players, but he released a 25-man list yesterday night, so it means there's still a spot available for any player who can race to fitness to be able to be part of the party going to Qatar, the very first World Cup in the Middle East. Well, let's turn our attention now to the action we saw last night, Carabao Cup, and a big one had to be Manchester City against Chelsea Football Club at the Etihad. That was a match that had everything on the line, talking about progression into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Chelsea Football Club were condemned to a 2-0 defeat. Riyad Mahrez scored a stunning free kick to give City the lead in the second half before Julian Alvarez was able to tap in from a rebound after Riyad Mahrez's shot was saved by Edward Mendy. And for Chelsea Football Club, the defeat once again leaves them, on a very, terrible run, it must be said, over the last 6 games, especially on the domestic scene. The continental scene that are doing quite well. They've qualified for the knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League, topped the group as well, which had AC Milan, Salzburg, and Dynamo Zagreb. But in the Premier League and now the Carabao Cup, it's not looking too good for Graham Potter. And yesterday we had fans reacting to the latest defeat, some even calling for a sacking, and which will be a bit of a shock considering he took up the job less than 2 months ago. Well, still talking about the Carabao Cup, we had lots of upsets, especially for the London-based clubs. Not a good night for them at all. Let's start with Arsenal, table toppers in the Premier League. Looks like title contenders, but on the domestic scene in terms of cup competitions, it was a shocking outing yesterday. It must be said that Arsenal, on the balance of play, should have scored more. They deserved to win. They played so well, but they just couldn't get the ball at the back of the net. You had Nelson Nketiah getting them up and running, scoring the first goal of the game. But what a comeback that was from Zebi's men, with Welbeck scoring from the spot to equalize. And you had other goals with Lamptey hitting late on just to ensure that Brighton ran out comfortable 3-1 winners. Prior to the second and third goal, you had Nketiah also hitting the woodwork from a shot. It was a match, as I said earlier, that Arsenal should have won convincingly. They had the chances even after going a goal up. They kept on attacking, hit the woodwork. They were all over Brighton, but as soon as that's momentum of about 10-15 minutes settled down, you had Brighton coming into the own, and they grew into the game, especially in the second half. And you probably want to blame fatigue at this point in time. Arsenal have played so many matches, just like every other club, considering the World Cup and its unusual timing when it comes to being played. So that probably played a role. It's yet to be seen. But Arsenal Football Club are now out of the Carabao Cup, and it's Brighton Hove Albion who go through to the next round. Still talking about London clubs and how badly they performed yesterday, you also have Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, the Spurs as well have been sent out of that competition, and that's as a result of a 2-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. Now, this is a match where you had Renan Lodi scoring the first goal. It was a sumptuous, caller from the edge of the box from the Nottingham Forest left back. You also had former Manchester United midfielder Jesse Lingard scoring the second goal as Tottenham Hotspur were condemned to a 2-0 defeat. For Spurs, it must be said that Antonio Conte, the coach of Spurs, talked about Harry Kane being fatigued, and he said that's probably a reason he couldn't play so well. Remember, Harry Kane was taken off after the 59th minute of that game, even when Spurs were trailing by 2 goals and they needed their strikers to be on the field to probably get them back in the game. But Conte decided to take off his talisman, saying that he was fatigued, and it's quite understandable. The match against Nottingham Forest yesterday was the 21st match of that was the 21st match of Harry Kane in terms of starting matches, which is definitely a very long streak for a player of that nature. So it will be intriguing to see how Spurs fare, especially going into the last game of the Premier League before the World Cup. But Spurs are also out. Quite well that West Ham United are also out following a 2-2 draw against Blackburn Rovers. They lost 10-9 on penalties, while for Wolverhampton Wanderers, they were able to get the better of Leeds United, being edged by a lone goal, and it was Traore who got the goal for them. Liverpool were also in action, and they as well were able to progress on penalties against lowly rated side Derby County. That ended 3-2 for Liverpool. Manchester United will be taking on Aston Villa. Now, for most Manchester United fans, this is a match that they would definitely rue, because last week, just over the weekend on Sunday, you had that same fixture played in the Premier League, and it was Aston Villa who ran out 3-1 winners over Manchester United. So is it a case of deja vu, or will United get their revenge? It's yet to be seen, but there's everything at stake. Whoever loses would definitely exit the championship. So it's all to play for. No major injury concerns for both sides going into this one, so you expect the full strength of the team. Surprisingly, Ronaldo had a start last time out, talking about the Premier League match against Aston Villa. Remember, Ronaldo has found starting shirts hard to come by in the Premier League for Manchester United this season. Let's turn our attention now to the Spanish La Liga. Real Madrid, yes, Real Madrid, the defending champions of La Liga, will also be in action tonight, and it's against Cadiz. Now, this is a match you would expect Real Madrid to win easily, and they have so much at stake. They are currently 5 points behind arch rivals Barcelona, although they've played a game less. So if they win tonight, they will be able to close up the gap to just 2 points, which is within the context of a game, and that could be the El Clasico, talking about the return leg. Remember, Real Madrid won the reverse fixture of the El Clasico this season. Talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, once again they lost, and this time around it's getting ridiculous. 4 losses on the bounce. More importantly for them is that they lost their talisman LeBron James to a groin injury, and that would definitely be more of a concern than the loss itself. They lost by 101 to 114 points to the Los Angeles Clippers, and it was LeBron James who top scored for them with 30 points, 8 rebounds as well as 5 assists. You had Anthony Davis contributing 21 points and 9 rebounds, while Russell Westbrook had 14 points and 9 assists. For the Clippers, the loss condemns them to just 2 wins and 9 losses to the start of the season. Again, this is not a good news for the Lakers, not just about their record to the season, but more importantly, the loss of LeBron James. It's yet to be seen how long it will be out for, considering that this same injury that he had in 2018 made him miss 17 games on the bounce. In other words, he had a tear as well in his left groin way back as of 2018, and he missed 17 consecutive games, and that's affected the Lakers at the time. That they couldn't make the playoff. Talking about the postseason, this time around, is now down again with a groin injury. We do not know if it's a reoccurrence of that same tear in the left groin or it's the right groin this time around, but it's not looking good for the Lakers, who need their talisman to lead them through this terrible start to the season.